is re...
Please, my friend, please, you will help me with him. Yes, of course, but we'd better not move him. The doctor will be here soon.
He wouldn't leave the car until his friend was in the ambulance. I took him to my house. He's here now. Well, he didn't say anything, and I didn't ask. It hardly seemed the time. Oh, really? Well, what do you know? All right. May I tell him about his friend? Good. Thank you. Not at all.
It's a little big.
It's a perfect fit.
Well, it is warm and it is dry, and I want to thank you, Mr.
Bromley, and this is Mrs. Bromley, my wife.
How do you do?
How do you do? Won't you sit down?
Oh, thank you very much.
Wouldn't you like a drink?
Oh, yes, please.
Kitty, one for you?
No, thank you, dear.
I, just talked to the police station a few minutes ago.
Oh, you have news of my friend?
He's going to be all right. The doctor thinks it's only a bad knock on the head, but they're taking x-rays to be on the safe side.
I hope the doctor is right.
They told me your car...
Mrs. Bromley, for your kindness to me and to my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're Russian, aren't you?
Yes. My companion is Boris Zotkin. He's from the Russian embassy. He's showing me around your country. My name is Tolanov. Dmitry Sergeyevich Tolanov. Oh, I have passport. It's upstairs.
Never mind. I believe you.
I am a businessman.
Oh, I didn't know they had businessmen in Russia.
I'm in business, so I'm a businessman. Forgive me, but I think I had better leave.
Mr. Tolanov, it's not necessary.
I think it's better.
You've been through quite a shock. It would be wise for you to spend the night with us. In the morning, I won't detain you.
All right, I will stay. I will go to bed now.
Your room is the second door on the left.
I remember. Thank you. Good night. Good night.
Good night. Well, now, who can that be? All we need is to get involved in an international spy ring.
Hello? Yes, this is he. How are you, Mr. Conroy? State Department, Washington. They just got news of the accident. Well, he told me that he was a Russian businessman. I didn't know they had any over there.
Oh, I suppose he was trying to find the right word to describe his job. Actually, he runs a big government shoe factory near Moscow. He's one of the technical experts the Russians have been sending over to see how well we do things. He's been here about a week. By the way, if I may ask, sir, what is your business?
Banking. I'm president of the Mutual Savings Bank here.
Couldn't be better. Why? Well, because our Russian visitor has landed right in the heart of the free enterprise system. We've got a favor to ask of you, sir.
Well, of course. It won't be any trouble. He can stay with us until your man arrives. We'll show him around. All right, Mr. Conroy. Good night. Well, he seems to think that Dmitry
Dmitry Sergeyevich Tolanov, like in Tolstoy.
Yes. Well, he seems to think that he could learn a thing or two.
Well, now, I just better put caviar on the shopping list.
Well, this is it, Mr. Tolanov. This is where I work.
All this just to collect savings? It's too big, my friend.
No, this is our mutual savings bank, all right. I don't understand you. This isn't a particularly big bank.
Well, in Russia, a bank for savings is a little store, a little tiny store. Office like this should be building for central bank for important business.
Savings are important here, Mr. Tolanov.
You must be a very rich man, Mr. Brownlee.
Rich?
Well, only a rich man would own a bank like this.
I don't own it, Mr. Talanoff.
Oh, then government owns it.
No, the government doesn't own it either. I happen to be the president of this bank, but I'm only one of the men involved in its management. Most of the leading men of the community, nearly 50 of them, serve the bank as corporators and trustees. Here, look this over. It's our annual statement. It'll give you an idea of how a mutual savings bank is set up in this country.
Yes,
Now,
but...
of this group, 5 of us serve on the Board of Investment.
Yes, but who owns the bank?
They do. All of the people who deposit their savings here. This bank is operated for them. No stockholders, no government, just the depositors. Every penny the bank earns, after we take care of operating expenses and reserves, goes back to the depositors as dividends. That's what the word mutual means when we say mutual savings bank.
It sounds like a lot of trouble. In Russia, it's simpler. The government owns the bank.
Make yourself comfortable, Mr. Talanoff.
Thank you.
Be back in a minute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Briggs. I'm sure that you're going to have no trouble with that at all.
Okay, Mr. Duggan.
Bye.
Bye.
Good morning, Matt.
Morning, Mr. Bromley. I'm sorry if I sounded a bit edgy yesterday.
Oh, forget it.
You know, I really haven't made up my mind yet about that Chicago offer.
I know you haven't. I'm not going to press you.
Well, it's just that sometimes people's troubles get me down.
It's only because you're trying so hard to help them, Matt. That's what makes you a natural for this business.
Well, now I'm looking. I can't seem to find...
Leave that a moment, will you? I want you to meet a new friend of mine, Dmitri Talanov. Just dropped in from Moscow. Very interesting ideas on banking.
Oh?
Mr. Talanov, this is Mr. Duggan, my right hand around here.
How do you do, sir?
How do you do?
He's going to show you around. Answer any questions you have.
Good. I am fascinated, Mr. Duggan. Such an elaborate institution for such a simple business. After all, what you do, you take money in and you give money out.
Well, really, Mr. Talanov, there's a great deal more to it than that. Come, shall we begin? I guess a good place to start is with some of the people who let us take their money in and give it out. Let's see. There's one of our oldest customers, Miss Carter. She's a retired school principal, loves to travel. Each year she takes part of her savings out and treats herself to a wingding of a trip. Of course, the rest stays in to accumulate dividends. Where's it going to be this year, Miss Carter?
To Mexico.
You mean you allow people to take their money out of the country just like that?
Why not? It's her money. And there, without a doubt, is one of our younger depositors. She's obviously got big plans for the future. Probably a new bike.
Don't forget the adventures, mister.
Yes, but children with savings account, this is unhealthy. It's bad. You are teaching them to be greedy.
No. We're teaching them independence.
Independence? But that child, he insisted on getting interest.
He's entitled to it, Mr. Talanoff. All our depositors get interest on their savings. And that interest is compounded. We pay interest on the interest that remains in the bank. You'd be surprised how fast it all adds up.
In Russia, we also have savings banks. The government pays us interest, but that is of no importance to us.
Oh, it isn't?
No, it is better that we spend the money to buy things. That is when we are fortunate enough to be able to get.
I see. Well, we have many other special services. We sell traveler's checks. That's a safe, convenient way to carry cash on a trip.
You mean you not only allow people to take money out of the country, you make it easy for them?
Well, there again, it's their money. We don't want them to have to worry about it. We'd much rather that they were safe than sorry.
But you charge them for it. You make them pay.
Oh, yes. 1 penny for every dollar's worth of check.
Well, that is all?
That's all. Here's a young lady just bought a registered check. Now, if she sent cash through the mail, anything might happen. It might get lost or stolen or just plain drop out of the letter. With a registered check, she's absolutely safe. And these, too, cost only a few pennies.
Fantastic.
And we sell low-cost life insurance.
A bank selling life insurance?
Why not? And we have Christmas clubs.
In Russia, the government does not encourage Christmas.
Oh? Well, it's still rather popular over here. And we have other special service clubs.
It's such a waste of time. You take so much trouble to take care of these little bits of money for people. I don't know, it's not efficient.
I'll tell you what. Let's go over to the accounting machines. They're highly efficient, they never make a mistake, and they don't waste time. You'll love them.
No, Kitty, we won't be late. We'll leave here in a few minutes. Oh, by the way, did you get hold of Maria? Good. Well, tell her she doesn't have to speak to him or even look at him. Just put the food in front of him. Sure, I understand. See you in a little while, dear. Goodbye. Had enough for one day, Mr. Delano?
Oh, fantastic. It's a fantastic experience.
Good. Let's go home. Thank you, Matt.
Oh, pleasure was mine.
Indeed, yes. Thank you very much.
Well, what do you think of our bank, Mr. Delano?
I'm impressed, very impressed. Everything works very fine. It is what you do that is wrong. You Americans have the most efficient methods for doing the most inefficient things.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, Matt. And thanks.
Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Dudley.
Good night.
Excuse me. Sure. I'm afraid I disturbed that young man of yours. I hope I didn't offend him.
Disturbed him? Good. Don't worry about it.
Tell me, this money you take in, what do you do with it?
We invest it in various ways. For example, that road down there. A lot of the money to build it came from savings banks. You see, we purchase municipal bonds, local, city, and state bonds. And we buy federal government securities, too.
Ah, government securities. This I understand. You see, Russian bank is agency of government. All money must be invested in government securities. Much simpler.
For us, mortgage loans are the biggest part of our business. We try to help people to own their own homes. I want to show you something. It won't take us much out of our way. Our bank financed this development. More than 100 families are enjoying these new homes. Pretty nice, isn't it?
Very nice. But only rich people live here.
Not at all. The people who live here aren't rich. They're average incomes.
Now you are trying to fool me. This is only something that you show visitors.
Delanoff, my friend, I wish you had time to travel around. You'd find the same thing in every state in the Union.
Amazing. And your bank financed all this building?
This particular project, yes.
Fantastic. All these beautiful homes, and so much room. My family has a 3-room apartment in Moscow that is considered very good. We have it only because I am manager of plant and a party member.
But isn't everybody? Well, I mean, isn't everybody in Russia a member of the Communist Party?
Oh, no, not everybody's member of the party. Manager of plant, yes, but the workers, no, not all of them.
You know, it's just possible that a savings bank system like ours could do something for this housing shortage of yours. You might be interested in how we do it. We're having a Board of Investment meeting tomorrow afternoon. Would you like to sit in?
I would be delighted, Mr. Bromley.
We're responsible for 2 things. To see that the depositors' money is safely invested and that it returns them good dividends.
In my country, money is invested where government thinks best, where it is needed the most. It's more efficient, is it not?
Well, I don't really know how efficient it is. I'd have to visit your banks the way you're visiting ours. But I think there's one important difference. You think of the government first. We think of the depositors. We try to encourage their own independence. And I must say we take a great deal of pride in it.
Ah, yes, independence. Your Mr. Duggan used that word.
More coffee, Mr. Talanoff.
Yes, please. It is very excellent coffee.
Marie, you finished already? Good. Jim, would you drive Marie to the bus stop, please?
Sure, I'll be right with you.
Oh. Allow me.
Thank you, Mr. Delano. Come along, Maria. We don't want to miss your bus. Darling, save me some coffee, will you?
She's Hungarian.
Morning, Mr. Bromley.
Oh, good morning, Matt.
Hey, Mr. Conroy called with the State Department. He said they're sending down a man with a car to pick up Mr. Talanoff and his friend this afternoon.
Thank you, Matt.
And Mr. Conroy wanted to know if Mr. Talanoff had learned anything from us. I told him I didn't think I'd been getting through.
So I hear. I better go at it myself.
By the way, what is our distinguished guest doing today?
Oh, Mrs. Bromley hasn't been told this morning. She ought to take him shopping. It's her turn to show him the American way.
There is so much of everything to choose from, Mrs. Bromley. Such plenty.
Yes, isn't there?
An ordinary worker cannot buy all these things, of course.
Well, of course he can.
Oh, impossible. How can he afford it?
Well, he saves his money, Mr. Talanoff. A penny saved is a penny earned. We learned that from childhood. Savings and savings banks are part of our tradition. Why, right here in Massachusetts, we've had savings banks since 1816, I think it is.
You're a very charming woman, Mrs. Bromley. And you talk exactly like a savings banker yourself.
I read my husband's speeches.
Do you think we could have another ice cream someplace else?
As many as you like, if they won't make you sick.
Here, Mr. Talanoff, let me help you with that.
Oh, thank you. I see Mr. Bromley is busy.
Yes, he's just finishing up. Sit down, won't you?
Thank you very much. Isn't that Mr. Bromley's servant?
Yes, she's their cleaning woman.
What is she doing here?
Well, they're applying for a construction loan. They're remarkable people, the Mareks. They've been over here only a couple of years.
Yes, I know. But I suppose the bank will lend them the money? But they're practically strangers. What do you know about them?
Oh, quite a bit. Oh, they're very hard workers, those two. And that's an asset to any community. They bought an old rundown wreck of a farm, and you should see it today. Now he wants to put up a new barn. And my guess is that the board will approve his application this afternoon. You run into a lot of success stories in this business. You even get to help some of them along.
Then why do you wish to leave this business? Mr. Bromley mentioned...
Well, I haven't made my mind up yet, really. It's a personal reason.
Well, I'm just teasing you, young man. But you should get out of this business and into something more useful.
Hello there, Talanoff. You're just in time for the board meeting. Want to come along?
Well, thank you.
Before I got home, I run into a terrific thunder shower. I don't know whether you people got caught in it or not. But under the...
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to introduce a visitor from Russia, Mr. Dmitri Talanoff.
How do you do?
He's going to sit in with us.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Talanoff, our Board of Investment meets once a week to approve loan applications and the purchase of securities. Not a bad-looking crowd, eh? Tom Graham, he heads up the Light and Power Company in town.
Nice to meet you.
Pete Sullivan, how are you? He's head of the Wholesale Lumber Company here. Raymond Davis,
How do you do?
controller of the air conditioning plant I pointed out to you last night.
Oh, yes.
How do you do?
And Alex Simpson, lawyer and very nice guy, even though he does belong to the wrong political party.
Hello. How'd you do?
Now, I know we have a lot of things on the agenda, but I'd like to take up first the construction loan for Maria and Jan Marek for the benefit of Mr. Talanoff here. Before we can approve a loan, Mr. Talanoff, At least 2 members of the board have to visit the property personally. In this case, Mr. Graham and Mr. Simpson looked it over. Suppose you report, Alex.
Okay. We all know the old Miller farm. The Merricks have done an excellent job out there. And for my part, I'd go along with the loan.
Tom, have you got anything to add?
As a banker, I suppose I could raise a few questions. The Merricks have done a remarkable job. They've cleared the property of all the rocks, and I know that piece of land. I'll go along with it.
Anybody else?
Okay by me.
All right, what next?
Well, the Central Laundry Company has a proposition.
Well, I guess that winds us up. It's getting late.
Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you. Good night.
Glad to meet you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good night.
How's the new library going, Jim?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. We're going to have a beautiful building, but trouble is we haven't got enough books, so you're all going to volunteer again to help me collect a book fund, right?
Right. Okay. We'll talk about it next week.
Good night,
Right.
Jim.
Good night.
Good night, Alex.
About this library business, I think I understand. You are going to give the books so you can control the selection.
Of course not. That's ridiculous. We're going to collect a book fund for the library to use, and that's all. They'll decide what books to buy, not us.
I see. You do not think it is a great risk to allow people to read anything they like?
Not at all.
Well, thank you very much for allowing me to attend your meeting.
Glad to have you. Did you learn anything of the way we work?
Well, I learned a great deal. Some good, some bad. Members of opposing political parties sitting on the same board, and you spend so much time on the problems of little people.
Dmitri, to me, when you say little people, you imply that they're mean and petty and selfish. Not having much money doesn't make people little. Not in my books. And they're not chessmen that you can move around as you please. They've got ideas and hopes and weaknesses and their rights as individuals. And this is their bank, not mine. Well, I suppose my job would be easier if everything were cut and dried, laid out in a book of regulations, settled once and for all by government decree. But, Lord, it would be dull. We'd all be automatons, wouldn't we?
Yes, automatons.
Pardon me, Jim.
What is it?
The car is waiting for Mr. Tennaro.
Thank you. I will be right out. You're a fine man, Jim. It's too bad we are worlds apart.
No, Dmitri. Just an idea.
I'll help you out to the car, Mr. Delano.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you about our bank by mail service. Anytime that you're ready to open an account, just send us the money in this envelope and we'll pay the postage. Even from Moscow. And I'll be here personally to take care of your account.
Oh?
That's right.